Across the vast canvas of human history, amidst the tapestry of civilizations, lie shadows. Dark corners where the boundaries of morality blur and the unimaginable becomes terrifyingly real. We're about to embark on a journey, a chilling exploration into the heart of humanity's darkest impulses, the practice of cannibalism. From the fierce Carib warriors of the Caribbean to the ritualistic sacrifices of the Aztecs, the whispers of these ancient tribes echo through time. Through real-life pictures and accounts, we'll delve into the historical context of these tribes, peeling back the layers of time to understand the motivations behind their chilling practices. Prepare yourself, for the path ahead is not for the faint of heart. This is a journey into the abyss of human nature, where survival and savagery collide. The Caribbean, a paradise of sun-kissed beaches and azure waters, holds a secret history of the fierce Carib tribe. Feared warriors, the Caribs believed consuming their enemies' hearts and livers gave them strength. To their enemies, they were monsters. To their people, protectors. Imagine the terror that must have gripped the hearts of those who crossed paths with the Caribs. The sight of their war canoes, adorned with the skulls and bones of their victims, was enough to strike fear into the hearts of the bravest souls. Their raids were swift and brutal, leaving a trail of carnage in their wake. And for those unfortunate enough to be captured, a grim fate awaited them. They would be brought back to the Carib villages, where they would be ritually sacrificed and consumed. The Spanish conquistadors, upon arriving in the Caribbean, were horrified by the tales of Carib cannibalism. They saw it as confirmation of their own sense of superiority, a justification for their brutal conquest of the islands. The clash between these two cultures, one fueled by a thirst for gold and the other by ancient traditions, would have devastating consequences for the Carib people. High in the Valley of Mexico, a civilization flourished, its cities gleaming like jewels amidst the lush landscape. The Aztecs, masters of engineering and art, built an empire on a foundation of blood and sacrifice. They believed that the gods craved human hearts and blood, and that it was their sacred duty to provide this sustenance, to keep the delicate balance of the cosmos in check. Thus, warfare was not just a means to an end, but a sacred ritual, a dance of death and divinity. These conflicts, known as the Flower Wars, were not fought to conquer territory, but to capture prisoners for sacrifice. Imagine the battlefield, a sea of obsidian blades and feathered headdresses, the air thick with the scent of blood and copal incense. The captured warriors, considered the most worthy offerings, would be led to the top of the towering pyramids, their hearts ripped out and offered to the gods. Across the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean lie the Fiji Islands, a paradise of sun-drenched beaches and crystal-clear waters. But beneath this facade lies a dark history. For centuries, cannibalism was practiced here as a sacred ritual. Deep within the island's interior lived tribes like the Kaudrovi and the Watu-Watu. To these warriors, consuming their enemies was a way to absorb their spirit. The arrival of European missionaries in the 19th century marked a turning point in Fijian history. With their faith in tow, these newcomers set about dismantling the old ways, preaching a gospel of love and forgiveness that stood in stark contrast to the practices of the past. The missionaries saw cannibalism as an abomination, a stain on the soul of Fiji. They worked tirelessly, converting tribe leaders, and slowly, the practice began to wane. the whispers of ancient rituals faded, replaced by hymns sung in a language not their own. By the late 1800s, cannibalism in Fiji had all but vanished. The echoes of those ancient feasts, once reverberating through the jungles, were silenced, leaving behind a silence as profound as the rituals themselves. But the story of Fiji's cannibalistic past serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of human history, a testament to the power of belief and the enduring capacity for change that resides within us all. Deep within the heart of Western New Guinea, shrouded in an emerald embrace of dense jungle, lives the Korowai tribe. Their world, a tapestry woven from ancient traditions and a deep connection to the natural world. But within this world, a darkness lurked, a fear that whispered through the trees. They called them kakua, witches who could take on the guise of friends or family, their true nature masked behind smiles and deceit. These malevolent entities, they believed, possessed the power to steal souls, leaving behind empty vessels of the ones they loved. To protect themselves from this insidious threat, the Korowai developed a ritual, a practice as chilling as the jungle itself. When a kakua was suspected, they were hunted, captured, and then consumed. It was an act born not of malice, they believed, but of necessity. A desperate attempt to safeguard their community from the unseen forces that threatened to unravel their world. The belief in kakua and the practice of consuming them persisted well into the late 20th century, a testament to the enduring power of tradition and the grip of fear on the human psyche. But as the outside world began to encroach upon their isolated existence, the Korowai's beliefs began to shift. Contact with missionaries and anthropologists brought with it new ideas, challenging their understanding of the world and the spirits that dwelled within it. The stories of kakua, once whispered in hushed tones around flickering firelight, began to fade. The younger generations, exposed to different perspectives, questioned the old ways, their beliefs tempered by the winds of change. While the practice of cannibalism has largely been abandoned by the Korowai, their story serves as a powerful reminder of the human capacity for both darkness and light, and the enduring search for meaning in a world shrouded in mystery. In the remote highlands of Papua New Guinea, nestled amongst the clouds, lived the Fore people. Their lives, a tapestry woven from ancient traditions and a deep connection to their ancestors. But within this world, a tragedy unfolded, a darkness that consumed their people from within. It began with a trembling hand, a faltering step, a slow and insidious erosion of the body. They called it Kuru, a deadly neurological disorder that ravaged their community, leaving behind a trail of sorrow and despair. Unbeknownst to them, the cause of this devastating illness lay in a ritual practiced for generations, endo-cannibalism, the consumption of their own kin. Specifically, the eating of deceased relatives' brains, a practice they believed honored the dead and strengthened the bonds of kinship. It was an act born of love, a way to keep their loved ones close even in death. But tragically, it was this very act of love that was slowly poisoning them. As the 20th century dawned, the Fore people found themselves locked in a desperate struggle against an invisible enemy. Kuru spread like wildfire through their villages, leaving behind a trail of devastation. Medical researchers, drawn to this remote corner of the world, were baffled by the disease. It was unlike anything they had ever encountered, a neurological nightmare that defied explanation. Years of painstaking research finally revealed the horrifying truth. Kuru was spread through the consumption of infected human tissue, a consequence of their ancient funerary rituals. The discovery sent shockwaves through the Fore community. The very act meant to honor their dead, to keep their spirits alive, was killing them. Faced with this devastating revelation, they made a heart-wrenching decision. From the islands of the Pacific, we journey to a land of fierce beauty and fiercer warriors. Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud, known to many as New Zealand. Here, amidst the towering mountains and verdant valleys, lived the Māori people. The Māori were skilled navigators, farmers, and artists, but they were also formidable warriors. In a land where resources were precious and territory fiercely contested, warfare was a fact of life. And in the aftermath of battle, a chilling ritual unfolded. The Māori practiced a form of ritual cannibalism, consuming the hearts and livers of their vanquished foes. This act, they believed, would imbue them with the strength and courage of their enemies. It was a way to absorb their mana, their spiritual essence. Imagine, if you will, the scene of such a ritual. The air thick with the smell of blood and smoke, the chanting of warriors echoing through the valley. A fire crackles, casting long shadows on the faces of the victors. The heart of a fallen enemy, still warm, is held aloft. It is a sacred offering, a conduit to the spirit world. A warrior steps forward, his face painted for war, his eyes burning with a mixture of reverence and primal hunger. He consumes the heart, believing he is absorbing the essence of his foe. It is a brutal act, born of a complex interplay of spiritual belief, tribal rivalry, and the constant struggle for survival. By the late 19th century, with the arrival of European missionaries and the changing face of warfare, this practice faded into the annals of history. Deep in the heart of Africa, shrouded in mist and mystery, lies the Congo rainforest. A vast expanse of dense jungle, teeming with life in its most primal forms. Here, for centuries, tribes have lived in a delicate balance with nature, their lives ruled by ancient traditions and the ever-present threat of the unknown. But within this verdant paradise, a darkness lurked. Stories whispered by the wind spoke of tribes who engaged in a practice as old as humanity itself, cannibalism. Not as a ritualistic act of honor, but as a gruesome necessity for survival. Tribes like the Mangbetu, known for their elongated skulls and intricate body art, were said to have practiced both endo-cannibalism, the consumption of their own people, and exo-cannibalism, the consumption of outsiders. Their reasons were as varied as the tribes themselves. Some believed that consuming the heart and liver of their enemies would grant them strength and power. The act of cannibalism, often seen as the ultimate taboo, was, in this context, a complex phenomenon. For some tribes, it was believed to be a form of spiritual nourishment, a way to maintain a connection to their ancestors. For others, it was a brutal act of war, a way to terrorize enemies and assert dominance. And in some cases, it was simply a desperate measure for survival in a land where food was scarce and the line between life and death was razor thin. Whatever the reason, the stories of cannibalism in the Congo remain a chilling reminder of the darkness that can reside in the human heart. They challenge our understanding of civilization and force us to confront the primal instincts that lie beneath the surface of even the most civilized societies. Our journey now takes us to 17th century Angola, a land brimming with history. Here, a warrior tribe known as the Imbangala rose to prominence. Feared for their ferocity, the Imbangala believed in consuming hearts for power. Imagine the thunderous drums of war echoing across the plains, This belief fueled their conquests and spread terror throughout the region. The Mbangala's reign of terror was swift and brutal. They conquered tribes, leaving fear and destruction. Cannibalistic practices were deeply tied to their beliefs. Consuming hearts was believed to absorb life force. It was a display of power to instill fear. But their story is not just violence. Their culture transformed over time. They became a settled kingdom, adopting new customs. Cannibalistic practices faded into obscurity. The Mbangala left a complex legacy in history. The Anasazi, ancient Pueblo people, architects of the earth and sky. Their majestic cliff dwellings stand testament to a thriving civilization. Yet, beneath the sun-baked sandstone, whispers of a darker past linger. For centuries, the Anasazi flourished in the canyons and mesas of the American Southwest. They built elaborate structures, cultivated crops, and crafted exquisite pottery. But their world, like all worlds, held shadows. In the depths of these dwellings, archaeologists unearthed a chilling secret. Fragments of bone scarred with the unmistakable marks of human tools. Evidence of a practice so unsettling it challenged everything we thought we knew about the Anasazi. Could a people known for their ingenuity and artistry also have succumbed to the primal urges of cannibalism? The answer, buried for centuries in the dry earth, whispered a haunting truth. The evidence, scattered across various Anasazi sites, painted a gruesome picture. Bones cracked for marrow, skulls split open, human flesh boiled in pots. The meticulous way in which the remains were handled suggested not just consumption, but ritual. Some scholars theorize that the Anasazi, facing environmental pressures and social unrest, may have resorted to cannibalism out of desperation. Others believe it was part of a complex religious practice, a way to commune with the spirits or appease vengeful gods. Whatever the reason, the practice left an indelible mark on the Anasazi story. It serves as a stark reminder that even the most advanced civilizations are capable of acts of unspeakable darkness. The Anasazi, once masters of their unforgiving environment, vanished from the archaeological record centuries ago. Their true motivations remain shrouded in mystery, leaving us to grapple with the unsettling echoes of their past. High in the remote Balium Valley of Western New Guinea, cloaked in mist and legend, live the Yali people. A warrior tribe, fiercely independent, they have navigated the treacherous terrain and ancient traditions for generations. Their world, a tapestry woven from dense jungle and towering peaks, is as unforgiving as it is breathtaking. Survival in this land demands strength, cunning, and an unyielding connection to the spiritual realm. For the Yali, the line between the living and the dead is thin. Ancestral spirits are believed to walk among them, influencing their lives and shaping their destiny. And it is through a most unsettling ritual that they seek to harness the power of the departed. The Yali believe that consuming the heart and liver of their enemies, particularly powerful warriors, would imbue them with their strength and courage. This act, far from being a barbaric display, was considered a sacred duty. The ritual was performed with a solemnity that belied its grisly nature. The heart, considered the seat of vitality, was eaten raw, while the liver, believed to hold the essence of bravery, was roasted and shared among the warriors. This practice, deeply ingrained in their culture and beliefs, was not merely about physical sustenance. It was about absorbing the spirit, the essence of their adversaries. It was about honoring their power by integrating it into their own being. Though the Yali have largely abandoned this practice in the face of modernization, the echoes of their ancestors still resonate through the highlands, a reminder that the human capacity for belief, for seeking strength in the face of the unknown, can take on many forms. From the sun-drenched islands of the Pacific to the mist-shrouded jungles of Africa, the stories of cannibalistic tribes weave a chilling tapestry. These practices, rooted in spiritual beliefs or survival instincts, challenge our understanding of humanity. While most cultures have abandoned these rituals, their memory lingers as a stark reminder. The line between the civilized and the primal is thin. Within this realization lies a profound truth.